Your production system is broken. Your leadership is blind to it, and you're too busy fighting fires to fix it. My name is Will Cordero. I own HillPoint Automation, and I built a system that manufactured over 700 satellites for a low Earth orbit constellation. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop firefighting and finally prove to leadership that the old ways is bankrupting the company. Let's talk about your daily life. You walk into the plant at 7 a.m., and before you can even set your coffee down, you hit with three critical issues. A module failed the electrical test, a machine is down, and a shipping deadline is about to be missed. You spend the next 10 hours running around, putting out fires, and playing hero. You go home exhausted, thinking you did a great job, but you didn't. You just spent 10 hours maintaining a broken status quo. This is the firefighter's paradox. You're so busy fighting the fires that you don't have time to find the person holding the matches. The biggest mistake I see in aerospace is engineers and ops managers who are caught in the day to day and refuse to take a step back. You've forgotten how to ask the most important question in manufacturing. Why does this have to be done this way? If you ask your leadership for a digital strategy, they'll tell you there's no money to invest, or we already have one. The thing is, there's plenty of money for overtime and weekend work, right? There's plenty of money for that $50,000 in scrap every month. There's plenty of money for expedited shipping because your schedule is a mess. You have the money. You're just burning it to stay warm in a broken system. Why doesn't leadership get it? From the front office, everything looks fine-ish. They see the final product leave the dock. They see the revenue hit the books. They don't see the shadow factory. They don't see the three guys standing around a machine for 2 hours because the work instructions are buried in a file that won't load. They don't see the manual data entry that happens at 5 p.m. when, after first shift, where people just guess at the numbers to make the report look good at the end. People just manually finishing steps. Leadership wants to keep doing things the old way because the old way is comfortable. It worked before, it worked when the product mix was low, but aerospace has changed. The complexity has exploded. You cannot manage a 2026 space program with 1990s management philosophies. When leadership says, this is how we've always done it, what they're really saying, we're afraid to admit our current state is a disaster. You cannot make an informed decision about where you're going if you don't actually know where you are. This is the current state reality check. If you go to management and say, we need a digital strategy, you will get rejected. It sounds like a nice to have. It sounds like an IT project. Don't ask for permission to gather the data first. You need to become a data guerrilla. Stop complaining about the problem and start measuring it. Exactly how many minutes are lost per shift waiting for that routing to be done, or waiting for the information or the schedule? Exactly how many rework loops are we going through because the old way doesn't have the correct routing? Exactly how many of your performance it's a lie? Gather the data and show them the bleeding. When you can show a plant manager that they're losing $12,000 a week because of specific bottlenecks, missing information, you aren't just talking about digital transformation anymore. You're talking about profit. A digital strategy isn't about buying iPads for everyone. It's about creating a feedback loop so that you can make decisions based on reality, not tribal knowledge. Here's the most common architectural mistake in aerospace: thinking the ERP is your single pane of glass. Your ERP is a rearview mirror. It tells you what happened last week, last month, or last quarter. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's great for finance. It is useless for the person trying to ship a satellite today. If you're trying to manage your production floor through your ERP, it's like trying to drive a car by looking only at the back window and then wondering why you're hitting everything. You need a single pane of glass that shows the current state in real time. This is where IT and OT converge. We call this the unified namespace. It shows the machine state right now. It shows the operator's progress right now. It shows the quality drift right now. When everything is seen through a single pane of glass, where the machine data, the operator data, and the schedule data are all in one place, the fires stop. Why? Because you can see the smoke before the flames start. You can see that a machine cycle time is drifting because the part is scrapped. You can see that a technician is struggling with a routing before the shift ends. You can see that your schedule is shifting because your machine is down. We spend too much time in aerospace thinking about transformation. We write 50-page roadmaps that sit in a drawer. We have committees to decide which software to buy. Enough thinking. The cost of inaction is higher than the cost of a wrong decision. Every day you wait to implement a real digital strategy, you're losing more tribal knowledge, you're burning more capital, and you're falling further behind the companies, the SpaceX of the world, who realized 10 years ago that data is a weapon. Stop being a firefighter. Start being an architect. Take a step back, ask why until it gets uncomfortable. Gather the data, show the bleeding, and then build a single pane of glass that lets you actually lead. Go look at your floor. Find one old way process that makes no sense, and then find a way to digitize the data coming out of it. Let's get to work.